우린 너무 달라 잘 알고 있잖아.
Wow.
서로의 진심을 알 수 없잖아. 이해하지 않아. 기억하지 않아. 늘 말뿐인 말들 기대하지 않아. 난 너를 사랑해. 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 따스한 그대의 손길로 난 너를 사랑해. 난 너를 사랑해. 난 너를 사랑해. 난 너를 사랑해. Oh baby. 난 너를 사랑해. 사랑해. 난 너를 사랑해. 난 너를 사랑해. 따스한 그대의 손길로 나를 안아줘. 나를 잡아줘.
Now, before I go on to another song, and I have no idea what that song's going to be, I'm going to tell you a story. But I'm going to warn you ahead of time. So listen closely. This is extremely important. The story that I'm about to tell you is pretty dark. I won't make it a long, drawn-out story. I'll get right to the point, but it's pretty dark. And it involves part of my life and some people in my life. It could potentially involve things like self-harm, disappearing forever, things like that. So I'm going to tell that story quickly. So if that stuff is hard for you to listen to, now is the time to step away for a couple minutes. Okay? But something about this song really, really hit me. And in a recent video that I did, I mentioned this. I can't remember what sparked it. Oh, it was something that Hobie said. I think it was either beautiful or something else. But he said, I think about this girl in my head that I saw or something. I can't remember. But I had said, this makes me want to say something that is probably a little too deep for Rookie King. But if enough of you wanted to hear the story, I would tell it. I don't know if that's been posted yet. I have no idea. But I've got enough coffee in me. And this song just hit me just right. So I'm just going to throw this out there. And then I'll throw in another song and that will be that. I'm going to try to be as non-specific as possible. When I was 17, I met the girl. I met my first love when I was 17. And when I say like my first love, it was my first love. We went to church together. We did everything together. We skipped school together. You know, we would sneak around, like sneak out of the house. She'd sneak out of the house. It was like, it was as an adolescent, it was my first taste of freedom. And for both of us, we were a lot of firsts. Okay? I want to keep this as simple as possible. We were a lot of firsts for each other. And this one night, she snuck out of her house. She drove to my house, which was about an hour away. And she snuck in. And we spent the night together. And we watched movies. And we did things that people do. And she left. And that was that. And then I got home from school that day, and there was a message on my answering machine that said that was my best friend, and he said, "Hey, I need you to call me immediately." And when I called him, he said, and I'll just say Jane. "Jane's in the emergency room. I need you to come down to the hospital now." Of course, I start to kind of panic, and I go and I meet my friend. He's there, and he says, "Jane tried to take her own life this morning, early this morning." Now, I'd been with this girl for about a year. And then this overnight happened. Everything was on board. There was nothing crazy. But he said she tried to take her own life last night. And she's in the ICU right now, the intensive care unit. So I remember being 17 and going into this room and seeing her there. This was the girl that I loved. I mean, with all my heart. And she was sitting there, she was laying there, and, you know, the tubes, the whole 9 yards. I'm getting way too specific, I'm sorry. But she was asleep, and I remember sitting there, and I'm 17. Like, I know nothing about life. And I looked at her and I thought to myself, like, I did something that made somebody I love that much want to hurt themselves to that degree. That ruined me. I mean, that ruined me. And I remember just falling on top of her and just losing everything. And I specifically remember walking out of that room and feeling different. You know, like feeling like something was different now. Something was different in me. Something was different in my life. I could go on, and I'm getting way too specific, and I'm sorry. I'm not trying to buzz kill the channel and the live. I'm really not. But the reason I bring all this up, aside from that song just like completely bringing me back to when I was 17 years old and sitting in that room and watching somebody go through that. Ugh, I feel it again. This girl haunts me. She haunted me. She haunted me until about 5 months ago. Oh, man, I'm shaking. Like my insides are shaking. About 5 months ago, I had this dream. And in this dream, I walk into this house. I walk into the first room, and there's an ex-girlfriend from when I was young. And I say, hey, it's nice to see you. I haven't seen you in so long. And I give her a hug. And I move on to the next room. And there's another ex-girlfriend. You know, I mean, like when you're kids, a girlfriend, boyfriend, it, you know, whatever. It doesn't mean much. And I give her a hug. Oh, it's nice to see you. And it's like me now. I'm married of 20 years. Everything's great. Oh, hey, how you been? And I give her a hug. And then I walk into the third room and there's Jane. And I can feel how I would feel if I saw her again. I mean, I feel it. It's literally like I'm pulled to her. There's a magnetism. And I give her this hug after not seeing her for 20 something years. And I remember feeling like I don't want to let you go ever again. I haven't seen you for 20 years. You were everything to me. I can't let you go again. Even though I've been married for 20 years and I love my life and I love my wife, everything's perfect. But there was something about me and her and me holding on to her that I didn't want to let go. And I told her I need a second. Ooh. And I stepped out of the room and I walked outside and I kind of got some air. This is all in the dream, okay? Just so we're clear. Why am I telling this story? I go outside and I get a breath and I walk back in and I see her and I give her a hug again. And I tell her, like, hey, we both know how this is going to end. Okay? I can't be here with you. We don't belong together. She got really upset and I had to leave because I'm married. I love my life. I remember waking up that next morning and thinking, this girl haunts me 20 something years later. She haunts me. It's like I need her. And that's crazy. So I go to therapy. I can't believe I'm still telling this story. Let me wrap it up because I'm buzz killing the whole live stream. I go to therapy and I tell this therapist, I need you to help me work through this because I'm haunted by this girl and I don't know why. And long story short, the therapist kind of gets me to understand that I have this idealistic version of this girl in my head that's stuck with me. And going through such traumatic times as a 17-year-old, that stuff sticks with you. So, and the truth is, like, it happened a couple times with her. First time was what I told you about. There was another time that I was with her and it was literally like a 4-hour fight, struggle. I was trying to stop her. And that's a lot for a 17-year-old. You know, you don't realize how much these moments in your life affect you. Even if you think that you're not thinking about them, that that they're not a part of you, like,
깊어진 하루 길어진 내 그림자 저 멀리 해는 저물고 있어 짙어가는 어둠 속에서 헤매고 있나봐 이곳에 갇혀버린 걸까 아직도 숨 쉬는 곳 그곳에다가 가야 해 Every day you seem too far away Every time I do I tell myself 이곳에서 기다리고 있어 Every night I see you in my heart Every time I do I end up crying 어둠 속에 너를 불러주면 내게로 들려오는 건 깊은 내 숨결들 라따따따 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 시간이 멈춰버린 곳 이젠 다 되돌려야 해 Every day you seem too far away Every time I do I tell myself 이곳에서 기다리고 있어 Every night I see you in my heart Every time I do I end up crying 어둠 속에 너를 불러주면 일렁이는 태양이 숨쉬는 곳 난 아직 이대로 멈춰 Every day you seem too far away Every time you do I tell myself 이곳에서 기다리고 있어 Every night I see you in my heart Every time I do I end up crying 어둠 속에 너를 불러주면
So before I move on to Tiny Desk concert,